Okay, so you've worked through your strategy. You've then created an understanding of where we are now, where we're going to. You're starting to communicate that out and get buy-in. Next, I guess it's on to actually making it happen. But
Yep.
at that point of the process, what percentage of the hard work is done? Because I'd imagine that actually that the buy-in part of it, the understanding, the acceptance of process, the acceptance of goals, that must be quite a big part of it.
It is, and it's never over in the sense that, people are. If I have a stakeholder that I bring into the sourcing process, workshops, right, or a delegate from their team, they haven't necessarily been in that workshop, so I need to convince them up to a point, or I use the word convince. I should say they should understand what we're trying to do to a point and buy in to use the expression you're saying, right? But they'll only buy into a certain point, right? And then that buy-in and that understanding starts decaying over time because they have all this other stuff to do, right? So
Yeah.
we have to continuously come back, and then even when it's implemented, you still have continuous improvement, and folks need to ramp up on their maturity on the new process, the new solution. So that change management piece of understanding and buy-in, yes, you need to reach an initial threshold to pull the trigger on your project, but then you continuously need to have activities in that change management strategy to make sure that you're keeping it at a decent level, and even upgrading it over time, right? Or bringing it higher over time. So yes, that's a hard part of it. But I'd say the harder part is in execution for sure, right? So being able to execute, being able to have the right teams in place, the right people at the right time, right? To be able to respect that project management triangle for any of the pieces that are in that roadmap, because that roadmap is potentially huge, right? It's changing the entire procurement function. And as much as we want to think that procurement is as we say in French, and I'll directly translate, steak, corn, and potatoes, so like a shepherd's pie, right? Really easy to make. That's the perception, but when you get into the detail, well, do you want cream corn, or do in there, or standard corn? So there's complexity there for sure. So that's why I always say as well, like, once you've done that hard work, like it's visionary work or strategy work to be able to craft a vision, then when you start deploying, do it in the smallest possible increments, smallest possible way, so that you're able to control that project management triangle of timeline, cost, and functionality for each of those pieces as best as possible, by keeping the teams smaller, by keeping the impacted users smaller as well. And it'll build as a snowball, right? You'll build the knowledge and the culture around those new processes and applications. We'll start with couple super users, and then they'll grow. And if you did it right, they're going to grow by themselves over time as well, instead of having to push the rock up the hill.